What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Collector Shot. Today I have my man, none other than Dominic from Bitz and Buttons. So I thought this would be a really cool interview to sit down, actually talk with the business owner, get to pick their brain about the beginnings, talk to Dominic about all the upcoming events that he has going on, and just to talk to him in general about what it's like to run a business and also be a collector at the same time. So I hope you guys enjoy the interview. So sit back, kick back, relax, and let's take a shot. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Collector Shot. Joining me today is my man, one of my closest friends, local store owner, con extraordinaire. I just have a whole bunch of names. Dom, the owner of Bitz and Buttons. What's up, buddy?
What's happening, bro? What's going on?
Nothing, man. Nothing. Thank you for joining me on an episode of the Collector Shot. I'm very excited to talk to you and give the viewers a dive into the perspective of what it's like to own a business and also be a collector as well. So I'm stoked for that.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you having me on. I know it's been something that we've been talking about for quite some time now. It's just life is busy.
Life is busy. Yep.
And just perfect timing for us. Perfect timing for you, perfect timing for me, and it's just a perfect storm, so to speak. So
exactly. So let's kick it in high gear. So a lot of people don't know the backstory about you opening up, the business and getting started. So why don't you give people a little bit of info on that and what made you decide to want to open up your own business and especially in such a niche thing, being a toy collector.
It's funny. It's such a weird story. I mean, there's two ways of looking at it. There's two ways of telling the story. What makes you want to open up a business is one thing, and then what made me actually go out and do it. Pardon my voice. For those of you guys that don't know, actually, I'm home in my dining room right now. I actually came down with COVID, so we're doing this from the home of Bitz and Buttons. So my voice is a little raspy, so don't mind me if I lose my voice a little bit. But this actually all began in a way where I worked a full-time job. I was actually working for a major corporation, a major retail giant. I'm not going to mention any names. If you know who they are, you know who they are. But I'm not one to actually try to promote people like that or businesses like that. But obviously, like anybody else in America, I really wasn't happy with what I was doing. It's not that I wasn't happy with what I was doing. It's just anything in life, you have to know your worth. And it's funny, we're just talking about AEW and just that MJF promo that just happened. Yeah. And everything in life is based on you and based on the journey that you take as an individual. And knowing what you bring to the industry in which you're in, no matter what it is, you have to know your talents. You have to know what you're capable of. And I just felt at the time that, my talents were being wasted. It's not that LeBron James theory where I'm taking my talents to South Beach. No, it's not about that. But, you kind of voice your opinion a little bit. You kind of want to do things your own way. And it's, again, working in a corporation, which you work for somebody else. And it's not always about working for somebody else. It's about working for an entity, so to speak, that they don't care what you have to say. They don't care about your opinion.
Yeah, they don't value you.
No, they don't. They don't value at all. And I just felt like after 20 plus years, because that's how long I was with the company, 20 plus years, a lot of dedication, and just a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak. And it just wasn't worth the stress. My health was taking a huge decline. And it wasn't to a point where I was getting cancer and things like that. But as everybody knows, stress causes a lot of that stuff. And the stress that I was putting on myself mentally and physically was just too much. And most of you guys know my wife, Cindy, who we've been together now, believe it or not, going on 16 years.
Oh, I got your beat.
Do you?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh man,
we've been married. Me and the thing have been married for 15 years, and we've been together for 20. So
nice. Well,
yeah,
the marriage and us being together are two different things.
she robbed that cradle right out of high school.
Nice, nice. But yeah, man. So she's been with me for a long time, and she's seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, so to speak. And it just got to a point where I was a different person. I was a different person to my family. I was a different person at work. And it just she knew what my passions lied. You know, she knew what I wanted to do because she would come home like your wife also. She would come home and that's the person you vent to, and
Yeah,
that's not just
exactly.
in marriage. It's just how it is. And it's funny because I try to explain that at the store now with Alex and Allison and Archie and Cindy. Coming from a corporate background, you kind of understand certain things. But everything in life is like a marriage. Everything in life is like a marriage. Every relationship is either going to go north or go south. And when you're in a situation where you either have choices or you don't, you just have to like make a decision. And Cindy just got tired of me, coming home miserable, being having that depressed mentality
Yeah.
while I'm sitting in bed. And
Well,
she's
we've all
like,
had
listen,
that. We've all had that at certain jobs that we've had
of
in our
course.
life that we just hit that rut, and it's amazing how one simple small change can make a difference and get you out of that rut.
Exactly, exactly, and it just got to that point because I've always done. People don't realize, like, yeah, Bitz and Buttons came out of the blue. Yes, Bitz and Buttons. Don't mind me again. Not feeling too good.
You got COVID
But
brain.
yeah, Bitz and Buttons as a storefront. Yes, it just came out of the blue. It came out. It came out the gate swinging. But the Bitz and Buttons mentality, the Bitz and Buttons, the entrepreneur, the guy behind the scenes, myself. I've been doing this, the eBay thing, the Facebook thing, the hustling, so to speak, in the toy industry, going back to about 16 years old.
Wow.
And how old am I again? 30, 39.
Yeah, we're the same age. We're the same age.
39. Okay, I had to check with Cindy to make sure. Because as you know, after a certain age, you stop counting. You start trying to figure out the math.
Yep.
But so going back to when I was 16 years old, and it's funny, I was just talking to Ed from Joe Fest, and I tell a story to people all the time. Like my oldest eBay account was from '98. I mean,
Wow.
That just goes to show you how long I've been doing it. And was I a major player in toy collecting? No, I wasn't. I was a nobody. I was a kid at the time who enjoyed playing with toys, even as a teenager. And my brother, who was 12 years younger than me, or still is 12 years younger than me, that was my way of still, enjoying myself, so to speak. So I always did that, and she knew that. And even through the years of working in the company, I always found ways to hustle, always found ways to go out. Even before we had kids, my oldest son's 12. So even before he was born, we would actually go to Walmart's and toy hunt. And it's funny, it's a thing now, but
Yeah,
me and
right.
Cindy did this for years, man, for years. And my
Good.
son's 12 years old, and we did it before he was born.
I've joked about that. Could you picture people doing toy hunt videos back in the day with them big ass camcorders? Could you imagine like walking through the store
Bro,
doing that shit with a freaking huge ass camcorder?
dude, it's nuts. Let me tell you something. Like I said, 12, my son's going to be 13 this year. So, yeah, so figure 12 to 15 years ago, if you, to do a toy hunt, just say, we'll just call it the toy hunt. You would do a toy hunt. We would literally hop from Walmart to Walmart. Target was really never known to have anything. This is nothing new. This has been going on with Target for eons. This
Yeah.
is definitely nothing new. But we would hit up every Walmart every night. We would do all the Walmart runs. We start at 10 o'clock at night, and we probably do the Walmart runs from 10 at night until like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah, because they were open. Most of them were open at 24 hours, and that's where that's when the restocks happen during the night. So you going from place to place in the middle of the night, you're finding all the shit.
Exactly, and that was the thing. Like, not only were they doing the toy restocks, but you were walking into aisles that were actually full. So
Yeah.
it's not like you're walking into a department now where you're just like, You're standing behind the corner trying to peek to see if there's anything on the shelf at all, let alone a restock.
Yeah.
You know, you walked over there and it's just like, okay, the shelves are full. Let's see if that same stuff's still there. But you would walk in and they would still have, you know, every week, you know, they would have a pallet or 2 pallets of new stuff. And it got to the point where we were known by the people that ran those departments. So we would walk in and we would dig out cases of Hot Wheels. So we were looking at a lot of Hot Wheels treasure hunts at the time. The Disney cars. What else? I was big into McFarlane. Thank you, my commentary over there. Don't mind her. She does, you know, she doesn't care about the live recording that we're doing right now.
Yeah, that dynamite drop-in, Cindy, that broadcasting school really paid off.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I was big into McFarlane's back then when McFarlane was doing sports picks. I was big into Marvel Legends then when it was Toy Biz, really.
Yeah, it was a Toy Biz.
So I used to do a lot of figure hunting and looking for chases. I was a big chase guy, and the main reason why is because that's where the money was. So a lot of times I would get my chases because nobody else did it. So when we walked into the toy section, these people looked at us like, hey, Dom, hey, Cindy, how you doing? You know, because they knew we were coming. And they would allow us actually to break down the pallets. So we would sit there. Yeah, man, we would actually jack the pallets up. We pull them over to the side where obviously we were blocking the aisle. And we would off stack the pallets to get to certain cases. So whether it was Hot Wheels or whether it was McFarlane's or Legends or even wrestling at the time, it was WWE Classics, we literally just off stack stuff. And then we take out what we needed and then we put it back. You know, and at the time, I mean, nobody was buying bundles of stuff. You know,
oh yeah, people weren't doing it as hard as they are now. I mean, you know, it's crazy how much it's evolved from years ago to where it's at now, where, you know, there's, you know, toy hunting really wasn't even a thing on YouTube, and then now all of a sudden, you know, every other day you see a different toy hunting channel, you know, pop up. So it's interesting because, again, like, if you weren't one of those guys that were in the forefront, you know, you're kind of struggling now. But still, like, yeah, like, I mean, even me, I walk into stores now and it's you know, the shelves are just bare, but that's because of the time that we're in now, where there's a lot of shipping delays and things like that. But, you know, so obviously that's you got started doing that by doing eBay and reselling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what made you, I mean, other than wanting to get out of your regular daily rut, I mean, how's it been, you know, owning your own business and being able to call the shots and you know, being able to set your own schedule and you know, just carrying the things in the store that you want to, you know, that you want to carry?
All right, let's go bullet point for bullet point.
Okay.
What's the first thing you mentioned?
About just just about, you know, like how it feels owning your own business, not having to answer to anybody, you know, and carrying the things that you want to carry in the store, you know, and, you know, just being your own man.
We'll start there. Honestly, having my own business and that's anybody's dream, no matter who you are. And if you're an American, and I'm not taking anything away from any other countries, but, you know, living in America, it's, you know, the land of opportunity. You know, it's living the American dream. And anybody that works for somebody else, their mentality is and will always be, I want to own my own business. So for me, it's always been a dream of mine to have my own business. So for me to actually step out of my comfort zone, so to speak, and to be running my own business, it's a breath of fresh air, so to speak. I enjoy it. It's not a matter of being my own boss. I always have that mentality. I always have that sense of confidence where I don't want to say I have to answer to anybody, but even when I did, I was still confident enough to know that whatever decision I was going to make, whether there was somebody above me or not, was going to be a right decision. Yeah. So for me to be in a position now where there is nobody above me, it's a good feeling, but it's also a scary feeling. And that comes down to, you know, not being afraid to fail, even though every day you wake up as a business owner, you have to have the mentality that I already did. And it's a tough pill to swallow. And And it's not that your business is a failing business. It's that you have to be humble and know that, and just like life, it can be over just like that. And you have to appreciate what you have, because it is. I'm ecstatic that I have my own business. I really am, and not being able to answer to anybody. But in reality, is whether you have a boss or you don't have a boss, even as a business owner, you still have associates. You still have to answer to them every day, whether it's a question, whether it's a customer, no matter what it is, you still have people you have to answer to every day, because no matter what you do, no matter what answer you provide to them, it may not always be the best answer, and you may not always be right. So it comes down to a point where, it's all about decision making. And no matter what line of work you do, and no matter who your boss may be, there's always somebody else that's looking over you. There's always
Sure.
somebody else that's watching every step you make, and you can't be concerned with that. You really can't. There's a saying, and it's basically, are you going to walk as an elephant? Are you going to walk through the savannah? And if you do, you got to be willing to walk past that herd of laughing hyenas. You really do, man. Because no matter what, there's always going to be somebody to critique you and tell you what you're not doing.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There
No,
really isn't.
no. Listen, people like, because obviously me and you have a rapport. We've known each other for a while now. People like me and you, we feed off, the criticism. We feed off the negativity, because that only drives us further. That only pushes us harder,
Exactly.
and again, people, it's amazing how something simple like that just gives you the motivation you need to just fuel you and get you to where you want to be. So when you opened up the store originally, did you stock it with your own stuff, or did you already have like accounts and things like that set up with like vendors and distributors and things like that?
Um, Originally, and this is going to piggyback on one of the other questions that I did not answer. Um, when I first opened up the store, again, my whole mentality was to utilize uh, my capabilities and what I originally had. And this is what a lot of people that are trying to open up a store in our industry, in the toy industry, so to speak. Yes, it's very easy to go out and have a full inventory, a full warehouse, or a whole second bedroom in your house filled with toys. You say, oh, I'm going to open up a store. I got plenty of
Hmm.
inventory. I don't need distribution. I don't need Hasbro. I don't need McFarlane. I don't need any of these people. I'm going to do it all on my own. And yeah, it worked out great that way. It really did. I mean, you were right there at the forefront of it.
Yeah.
And, did I have merchandise in the store? Yeah, store was full, man. I had a lot of vintage stuff. I had a moderate amount of modern. So it was a really good mix. But the biggest issue is the replenishing of that. And
Yeah.
that's what people fail to realize. And that is probably where you have to go out now and you have to start building these relationships with these companies. So to answer your question, the inventory that I started with, was my own inventory that I was utilizing through years of just, collecting for myself, and through, my sales through eBay and Facebook and things like that. And I actually, the only account that I actually had open at the time of us doing the store, opening up the store, was a Super 7 account. I did not have a Hasbro account. I did not have an Entertainment Earth account. There's a few other companies out there, distributors, McFarlane, all these other companies. I did not have accounts with them. So I started out like most people, where you just kind of say, "Oh, I'm just gonna do it on my own," and just hope to God that I sell enough products,
Yeah.
and that's what it all came down to.
So one of the key things I've always enjoyed about coming to your store is definitely the selection that you offer. But the main draw, really, what I feel is that you do a lot of buying, selling, and trading. And when people come in to sell to you, you give people a very decent percentage, because you understand that's how you get repeat business. So is that something that you always thought, like, you would give the value back the way that you can, to give people the most that you could give back? Or was that just something that you just kind of like came into one day, be like, oh, let me try this and let me see what happens?
And honestly, that's exactly how it happened. I had no intentions. Again, I'm very business savvy. I understand business very well. I understand numbers fairly well. I understand my margins, my profits, and all that stuff. Again, that's what I did for 25 years. So for me, opening up a toy store, I did it. Yes, I did it on eBay. I did it behind closed doors. Nobody ever saw this beautiful face. So when I opened up the store, people were coming in asking, hey, do you guys, yes, I was willing to buy merchandise from
Yeah.
people. But a lot of people were coming in going, hey, do you guys do trades? And I'm like, trade? I ain't trading nothing. Like, what do I look like? You know what I mean? Am I sitting here on the street corner trading, a Mickey Mantle baseball card for a Bobby Bonilla? Like, it's just not going to happen, dude. You know what I mean? Like, no way in the world. So, through trials and tribulations, you got to have to, like, understand, like, the concept on what's don't say like the going rate, but just like what are the ins and outs of the industry, and just kind of learn for yourself like what the expectations are, and just kind of like gauge your competitors. That's not a matter of competitors, but just kind of like look out at what the other industry leaders are doing. And it's funny because still to this day, again, going back to you have to be prepared to fail every day. And every day I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror and say, what can I do differently? No matter what it is, whether it's about Bitz and Buttons, whether it's about Dominic Massey, the person, or Dominic Massey, the father, or Dominic Massey, the husband. I wake up every day and ask myself that question. And you know what? When I'm browsing through social media, and it's a double-edged sword, it really is. One of the things that I see a lot of is, especially nowadays, everybody's always talking about, oh, I pay top dollar for toys. I pay top dollar for this. I pay top dollar for that. It's all perception. Everything in life is perception. So, when I see that, I say to myself, like, okay, like I always had the mentality that I'm going to pay 60 to 80% value on things. But I also have to remember that we live in a society where it's sad to say, but nobody is truthful. Everybody is out to hustle somebody else. And you're living in a world, especially nowadays, where the internet is right here. eBay is right here. So it's so easy for somebody to turn around and go to Walmart, and we get that a lot, and they'll buy something at Walmart, and all of a sudden they're trying to flip it to us because it's going for $45 on eBay. And again, you get to fall on hard times with certain things too. And, you learn your lessons quick. And I just got to the point where I'm going to buy stuff, but I'm going to buy stuff that I want to buy. And I catch a little bit of flack from some locals, and not a lot of flack. I don't want to make it seem like I catch a lot, but there's that very small percentage of certain locals that refuse to bring stuff to me, because there are certain things that is modern that I refuse to buy.
Okay? Yeah, because you get it. Well, because you get it wholesale. So why are you going to pay? Why are you gonna you're gonna pay a resale, a resale price when you get it wholesale because you have those accounts?
No, of course, but it's not even that. But like, say for example, like Funkos or store exclusives. A lot of these guys think that, oh, it's an exclusive. I'm going to bring it to Bitz and Buttons. They're going to give me 60, 80% value on it. Okay, why? Because it came out yesterday and the value's $60?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work that way. One, because my mentality has always been, and I catch a lot of flack from Tony from Nowhere Toys. A buddy of mine, his name is Alex. He owns Retroitis out in Dana. He just opened up a shop. And then Alex at the store as well. Sometimes you got to be a little greedy. You have to be a little greedy sometimes and try to squeeze a little bit more. And I understand that concept, but I've always had the mentality of I know what I pay for certain things. And as long as I'm making my margin, I have no problem offering that value to people.
Yeah.
So if I get something in, if somebody's bringing me something that just came out yesterday, and you're telling me, oh, it goes for $60 on eBay, I'm not an idiot. I've been around long enough to know in 60 days, it's $60 from off today, and tomorrow it's $20. So come back to me in 6 months when it's back down to regular MSRP, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, right.
And I've actually had to put a few people in check at the store where they get kind of offended by it. And it's just like, I'm not giving you that price, dude. Like, I'm a business. I'm not here to make you rich. And that's what I have to tell these people. And they look at me like, oh, that's insulting. No, you're insulting me. Don't come in here. You want to hustle? Do what I had to do for the past 20 years. Go online and hustle it. You want to make that $45? Go hustle it. And I see it a lot with the Funko community. And to a point where like these Funko days or Target cons or whatever these things are,
Yeah.
like we open up at 10 o'clock and I got people waiting at the door with their Target.
Oh yeah,
Like,
of course.
it's like, dude, no, I don't
Listen,
do that.
that's one of the main that's one of the contributing factors of why I got out of collecting Funko, was because I couldn't compete anymore with all these other people, getting up and sitting outside of a Target or a Walmart at 5 o'clock in the morning just so I could be the first one in there, just so I can get what I want. I mean, I couldn't do it anymore. It was too much. Not to say that any community has their own toxicity to it,
No, of
but
course.
but it became enough. And I also I'm not a fan of Funko as a corporation as a whole, because they tend to just not fix the problem, especially when it comes to their website, and they have the exclusives and things like that. And then the bots are able to all get in and get the pops and everything. It's like they choose not to correct the situation. So it's like I can't stand behind a company that chooses not to do anything about it. And this has been ongoing with them for forever. And that's those are the main reasons why I backed out of it. But you
Yeah.
know, even now, with a lot of the figures I collect, Walmart has their exclusives and Target has their exclusives, and I find I'm not competing as much with the figures as I was the pops, and my mentality changed to where, okay, if I find it, I find it. If I don't, I don't. It's not the end of the
Mhm.
world like it used to be with the pops. But but yeah, man, I mean, it's cool that you offer that for people. And I'm sure you see a lot of awesome stuff come into the store when people trade stuff in, especially when you get the vintage stuff in, because I know that's more your forte, is the vintage stuff. Because I know from us talking in the past, you've always been a avid TMMT guy. So
Correct.
I mean, again, like I didn't even know about this. You told me about this. I came into the store that one day and I was like, what's this graded figure in the case? And it was a scratch. And I'm like, I don't remember seeing him in the cartoon. And you
Yeah.
told me that, like, this is like one of the rarest figures, and like it was like stupid money. And I was like sitting there, I was like, get the hell out of here. There's no way. So I mean, like obviously the kid in you, when you see this stuff come in, you get giddy. But then from a business perspective, you're like, oh yeah, this is going to cost me, but can I make my return on my investment?
Absolutely. And it's funny you say that. And I have a lot of, my network's pretty broad, and people around the country that have different storefronts, that I talk to a lot. And what separates me from a lot of these guys, and it's very rare to see in this industry. Again, I have the business mentality. Um, and Alex will tell you firsthand. Cindy will tell you firsthand. My collection in this building that I'm in right now consists of 4 items. And those 4 items are my Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, and Raphael TMNT box giant. That's all I have in my house for all
Wow.
story related. I do not value anything as a business owner, for myself. Actually, what you see behind me is stuff that I used to collect probably about 15, 20 years ago. And that's something that I got out of. But those are the pieces I kind of like cherished for quite a while. And I
Yeah.
won't really give it up. I used to collect a lot of World War II memorabilia, a lot of turn of the century Americana, lanterns, street signs, things like that. That was from the
That's cool.
early 20th century. But other than that, I don't collect anything. My oldest son collects. He collects Mickey Mouse. My youngest son is actually big into Star Wars now. So he started off with Mandalorian and Grogu, but now it's blossomed into like this whole Star Wars thing. Cindy hasn't caught on to that concept yet
Yeah.
because she doesn't put a value on things. Her thing is she likes. If she likes it, it's costing me money. Um, I don't have that mentality, and a lot of these store owners, they tend to buy collections because they want it, because
Yeah.
there's pieces in it that they want. And that's where with Alex as well. You can't buy like that. You
Oh, I've
can't
seen it.
look at
I've
something.
seen Alex do some crazy ass shit.
Yeah, man, and it sucks. And it's like, as you know, for me, my kids are young, so it's crazy to think where Alex is like, I've taken him under my wing as a protege, you know, because again, I'm not going to live forever. I'm not saying Bitz and Buttons is going to live on forever. I'm not saying
Yeah.
Alex is going to be the CEO of Bitz and Buttons. But, you know, there's times where I need to put trust into my people. And
Yeah.
again, this is part of coming from a corporate entity where you have to put trust in your people to make right decisions.
No,
And,
absolutely.
and I see things where you can't look at something and go, wow, that's something I've been looking for years. I'm buying it. You
Yeah.
can't be that way. And there's been times where you talked about the scratch. Yeah, I mean, that figure ranges. And it's funny because I just got into like a little bickering match with somebody on a social media post about it. But, you know, a scratch comes into the door, comes to the store. Believe it or not, for me, it's an easy sell.
Yeah.
Where most people say, oh, I can't sell that. I've sold 5 this year.
Well, because you have a network, of people that you could reach out to you that you know, and even repeat customers that have stepped through the store that come through that they come into you and you say, hey, if you ever come across this figure, hey, hit me up. I'm your guy.
Exactly. I mean, I just bought a TMNT collection at MegaCon actually. And I mean, you were there. I owned TMNT scratch figure. I made the deal right there at MegaCon. The guy was walking around trying to sell it. Nobody wanted to jump on it because of the price tag. I literally asked the guy 3 questions. Is it a repro? Has it been altered? And how complete are the rest of the figures in the collection? That's all I asked him.
Yeah.
As far as the price point, all I need to know is how much he wanted for the scratch. All the other figures were just chum for me. Yeah. So once he told me, you know, the prices, I looked at them, I priced everything out right in front of him. And it's funny because he just looked at me. He's like, you don't have to check the prices on these things? I was like, no, I'm a TMNT guy. Like, I know the price off the top of my head for most of this stuff. So you're telling me that this stuff's anywhere between 70 to 90% complete. So I'm basing it on that. So I'm basing these prices on complete figures, even though they're not. Like, this is how I price the TMNT. Once I got my figures in my head and he told me the price for the scratch, because he knew what he had. He wasn't no dummy by no means. Yeah. I literally shook that guy's hand right on a Saturday. He's like, you paying with cash or you paying with PayPal? I'm like, dude, I got cash in my pocket. He went, he got the turtles. He came back like an hour later. Cash was exchanged. The turtles came back with us to South Florida. I kid you not, we opened up on Thursday. That scratch was gone by Friday morning at 10 a.m.
Jesus Christ, it's amazing. It's amazing how one figure has that much, draws that much attention, It's crazy. But switching gears for a minute, I know this is something that you've been doing lately. Like, you've been attending more of the toy shows and things like that. And you just did MegaCon. You were just at ICCC. So and both shows were a good turnout for you. Do you find yourself now wanting to do more of those types of toy shows, or are you just gonna kind of like pick and choose which ones you want to do? I mean, like, do you want to do all of them, or do you just solely want to stick to like the bigger ones?
Well, I can't do all of them. I know there's a lot of cons out there. There's a lot of major corporate cons. There's a lot of independent cons. We get actually invited to a lot of small conventions. I get reached out to quite often to do these shows. The problem is because I have to go big or go home. That's just my mentality. And because I'm coming from South Florida, the travel expense is pretty hefty for us. So anytime we leave from South Florida to go anywhere outside of the state, even if we go to Georgia, you're talking gas is going to run us, and I'm just talking average gas. I'm not talking 2022 July gas. No. It's going to run me anywhere between $400 to $600 just for gas.
That and then the lodging and food and all that stuff. People don't and the cost of the booth and all that stuff. That stuff piles up real fast. So you're already in the negative before you even set up the booth.
Exactly. So for me to do any type of show, a show has to be at least a 2-day event. If it's not a 2-day event, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, the one day shows, I could see it's not worth it. It's really not worth. I mean, unless it's literally like right around the corner from you, I could see that, but other than that, yeah, I don't see the value in doing these one day, these one day shows.
And like I said, it's tough because I have no problem supporting people. Like we just had an event down here. It's Universe.
Universe.
Um, which I know the guy that ran it, and he asked us to do it. But for us, it's again, there's a cost factor to us. I
Yeah.
have no problem supporting it. I have no problem supporting independent shows. Jeff Davis runs his shows, and I've spoken to Jeff a lot. And Jeff's asked me plenty of times to do his shows, but again, it's a cost factor. I can't leave my store for a one-day show. It's just, am I going to go there again? For most people to make, again, put it out there. Most people that go to these one-day shows and make anywhere between $500 to $2,000 a great weekend for them. For me, it's not. I'm not being arrogant. It's just it's a business perspective. For me to do $500 to $2,000 is nothing. I can do a Facebook show and pull that money in and more. And I can do that from
you got the comfort. Yeah, you do the comfort from your own store. You don't have to go anywhere.
Exactly. And it's not a matter of me lugging, and it's more time consuming than doing it that way. So I mean, we are actually, and again, I always have a vision, and I always tell people this. It's just like there's this in the back of my head, and again, this is one of the things of being a business owner is, and being, like I talked about before, is waking up, looking in the mirror every day and saying that I failed. Because you're never truly successful until you're able to sit back in your your big CEO chair and go, wow, look at what I created.
Yeah, exactly.
And for me, there's always a vision. There's always a vision for where Bitz and Buttons where Bitz and Buttons is going. And the convention scene has been something that I've been wanting to do for a while, but it just hasn't been a means for it. And there hasn't been a means for it for us as far as employees go. As far as making sure my staff can handle the load while I'm not there. There's the financial part about it all. Because I spend a lot of money, man. I spend a lot of money. And again, going back to what you talked about earlier, and buying and selling and trading and all that. And, I piggybacked on it with saying I look at a lot of these places that spend money and advertise. We're spending $100,000 this month, or we'll spend $100,000 on your collection, or $200,000 this month, whatever these other stores are saying. I run a lot of spreadsheets, and we do our budget. And let me tell you something. A lot of these other companies, a lot of these other stores, one thing that they do that I do is I have these contracts with Hasbro. I have these contracts with Entertainment Earth and McFarlane and all these other companies other than Mattel.
Yeah, you have distributors,
I have major distribution. So I spend a heap load of money every month on modern stuff. A lot of money on modern. I mean, you're a collector of it. Sideshow. Sideshow's a massive. My Sideshow invoice right now, my Sideshow pending order sheet is mega bucks right now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It doesn't mean I'm paying it all at once. But again, that stuff rolls in. I mean, Clone Wars, the Vintage Collection, 501st Troopers. We literally just sold out of our 501st Vintage Collection. And those figures retail $15 to $20 each.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are $15 to $20 each. We sold out of 30 cases worth. Okay, now if you do the math on that, that's 8 figures per case. So you're talking close to almost over 220 something figures.
That's crazy.
In less than a month and a half. It may not sound like a lot, but when you start putting dollars to those figures,
absolutely,
costing me,
absolutely,
it's a lot of money, man.
Absolutely. So jumping back to the whole convention thing. I know you got Joe Fest. I know you got Joe Fest coming up. I know Mike and Brian and David are going to be there, and I know they're splitting a booth, and I know you got your own booth. They're trying to get me to go up there. I don't know if I've got the time. If I've got the time for it, I mean, obviously, I would love to just to go hang out with my friends and have a good time. But Joe Fest is more, obviously by the name, it's more geared for G.I. Joe stuff. So I'm assuming right now with buying and stuff coming into the store, you're trying to like stock up on like a bunch of Joe stuff, right?
Correct. I actually, and that's one thing, I prepare for everything. I'm always prepared for every event that I do. My first few events that I started doing, it was more stateside events, not stateside, but more stuff that was internally within state, SuperCon, a few smaller conventions within the state. I always bought merchandise that was geared towards those conventions. And that's, again, business mentality. I'm not going to be bringing stuff that I have in the store already because people see that all the time. I'm bringing stuff geared towards that event. So, when we do these corporate events, so to speak, these megacons, these REIT events, we go out and we actually buy massive Funko collections specific for those shows. We did it at ICC. We did it recently at MegaCon. Now, Joe Fest is a different animal. Joe Fest, there's no Funkos going with us for that event. So for Joe Fest, our standard setup is going to still take place how we would normally set up, but in place of the in place of the Funko Pop section, we will be doing more vintage. Now, I actually have a deal lined up tomorrow where we're buying an entire vintage G.I. Joe run. So this is costing me a huge penny tomorrow. And this is a local deal that I'm making. And the guy has literally I would say probably it's over 350 individual complete figures.
Holy shit.
Yeah, from 82 all the way up until I think it's 95.
Wow.
So it's a lot of G.I. Joes, man. And again, 90% of them are complete. So, and I'm paying a hefty price for them because those are going with me to Joe Fest. Now, I'm going to try to sell through some of them, but I prepare myself for every event I go to.
So that, I mean, that that's cool that they have like these theme shows. Like, when you went to ICCC, it was obviously more geared towards, Star Wars and stuff like that. And the stuff that you had in the booth was crazy, like all the graded pieces, all the higher end stuff. So I'm sure you're going to be bringing some graded Joe stuff with you and some of the higher end stuff, because to me that those types of the shows, that's where the big ticket stuff goes down.
Correct. And not just that. We're not just, and again, I don't want to make it sound like Joe Fest is not just about G.I. Joes.
Yeah.
Ed, who runs the event, yes, that was the intention. But one of the things is doing ICC was kind of like a little bit of a rude awakening, so to speak. Not saying that we failed. We had a successful event, but one of the things you fail to realize is that yes, it is a Joe event, but this is more geared towards a vintage convention. So we not only are bringing G.I. Joes, but we are going to be bringing a lot of vintage stuff out there. Turtles. We're going to be bringing out He-Man. We're going to be bringing out, our graded, the whole entire graded thing. We're going to be bringing out most of our graded run out there, higher end stuff. A lot of vintage Star Wars. So just because it is Joe Fest, we are going to be bringing out other stuff because it is a larger event compared to ICC as far as venue capacity, as far as name recognition, things like that. And I'm not taking it away from ICC because Mike and the ICC is a monster in itself. But as far as the convention scene goes, Joe Fest is right now is probably a little bit more superior in that standpoint because they've been around longer.
Yeah.
And again, it's a name in itself. So, and we are bringing out a pretty wide variety of not just the graded and not just the G.I. Joes, but just everything in general. So
switching gears, like within the next couple of years, where do you see the progression of the store going? I mean, do you want to get a bigger space? Do you want to stay where you are? What do you see happening with the store within the next 5 years, give or take?
It's funny you ask, and it's like I don't want to keep cutting you off and changing.
No, you're good.
But, I want to go back to the Joe Fest thing. One of the things that I forgot to mention, we actually are doing an exclusive for Joe Fest. So for anybody that is actually going to be attending Joe Fest that watches this video, for this way then, we actually teamed with MB artists, Steve Ahola, Jamie Corker, and a few of the other artists, and we are doing exclusive prints for that event. We should be able to upload those images to the stream. So be sure to check those out. They will be available at our booth. Jamie will actually be on site and we'll be able to sign those as well. They're really cool prints. I noticed you saw one of them. Actually, you saw all of them.
I've seen them, and Jamie, and if you guys watch the MCE channel, you just saw my MegaCon video. I have a whole section in that video of where I'm talking to Jamie about everything that he's doing, and I mean, the work that Jamie does is just awesome. I enjoy it. I even have two of his art prints in my room. I have the what is it, the Shredder? I have the Shredder, and I also have the Mummer with the Thundercats. So he does really cool work.
Yeah, and we were actually trying to get Bob McLeod, who Bob McLeod is an original GI Joe guy
Oh wow.
who did the original work on the GI Joe comics. So originally he was supposed to be coming to Joe Fest with us, part of as just the program and everything, but he had some other things lined up. But he still did an exclusive for us, which we're going to be offering at the show.
Oh, I've already seen these guys firsthand. These things are pretty badass. So if you are attending Joe Fest, please go hit up the Bitz and Buttons booth and go take a look at those prints. I guarantee you guys will not be disappointed.
Yes, appreciate it. And again, going back to what you just asked,
Yeah.
The vision for Bitz and Buttons. It's funny because this kind of like coincides with the con questions.
Yeah.
People ask us all the time, and again, this goes back to seeing, so being active on social media and seeing what other stores are doing. There's always a vision in my head. Every day, again, I wake up, I look in the mirror and say, I failed. I failed because I have not reached that pinnacle yet as to what I want to do with the store. Ideally, people ask me when I open up the store, why did you choose this plaza? There's nothing here. My answer was, that's exactly why I chose this plaza. I don't need anybody. All I need is this and this. That's all I need. And then the people that I surround myself with. That's it. I don't need Publix. I don't need Walmart. I don't need Walgreens. I don't need CVS.
Yeah, you don't need to be in a major shopping plaza.
No, I don't need that. I don't need to be in a mall. When I opened up my store, my whole vision was, and it continues to be, and I tell people this all the time, and I'm sure you've heard me say this, is I'm a brand. I want to be a destination. When you don't have that mentality, you're setting yourself up for just eternal failure. Because one of these, people don't realize is like, you should open up in a mall. Opening up in a mall is not successful. People are not going.
People don't understand that the overhead in a mall is freaking ridiculous.
And you're handcuffed. You're handcuffed to their rules. You have to be open every single day from this time to that time.
Exactly.
And not just that, but people that are going to be going to the mall are going to be everyday new customers. Where having your own facility, or not just your own facility, but just having your own, your plaza, or just standing alone by yourself, you become that destination. You see it firsthand. What's in my plaza? There's nothing there.
There's a liquor store, a Little Caesars, a bar, and I think that's really about it.
And that's it. And then you have Debbie's. And Little Caesars isn't even there no more. They moved.
Oh, okay.
So it used to be called the Little Caesars Plaza. I mean, that's literally what it was called, and now it's become the Bitz and Buttons Plaza.
Yeah, should become Bitz and Buttons Mega Plaza.
Megapalooza.
Yeah, Megapalooza.
But it's funny because we expanded the store since we first opened. We took over the next shop over. We knocked the wall open. We did our due diligence there. People want to see me open up in other states. People are like, oh, you should open up a second location. You should, open up a store in this state, in that state, in our country.
That's so hard to do, man. Especially if you have a set standard and you've got to keep quality control and things like that. That's extremely difficult to do.
You see this? It's a box.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, but
yeah.
One thing that I take from my experience in working for the company that I don't want to mention was they used to have the same control, because again, every district was made up of a number of stores, and every region was made up of a number of stores, and they would always tell us, don't worry about store 20 and don't worry about store 50 and worry about your store, worry about your box, control within your box. And I took that personal, so to speak, and it's a very true statement, and that's a true statement in any business. It's not a matter of I don't want to see us succeed. I don't want to see us up here. Of course I want to see us up there. But I don't need to have 500 stores to be up there to be successful. I want to be able to control what I can control. And my four walls is all I want to control. Because when I have multiple locations with more than four walls, now I have 160 walls. I can't control all those. I cannot. And I'm depending on other people to do that, and it's impossible. And it's not a trust thing. It's a matter of, again, like you said,
Well,
quality control.
it's your standard. Unfortunately, in today's time, trying to find like minded people are very few and far between to come by. So again, trying to find somebody that has your values and your standards and your expectations, you're not gonna find that. Nobody could be you. Only you could be you. So so,
Exactly.
so to try to so to try to you know again do that, it doesn't make sense. Now what you can do is, like you said, make your store the best store, and then for people that want to buy that are out of state, well, that's why you have a website, that's why you have social media, that's why you have your
Hmm.
your Facebook group. You sell on all platforms. You're always on Instagram posting, hey, guess what, guys, this just came in. DM me, and we ship. And you also ship internationally too, which I don't think a lot of people know
No.
that as well too, because I know from my videos, I always get people asking me, hey, does Bits and Buttons ship internationally? And I respond, yeah, they do. And hopefully they hit you up, and you get the sale. But still, a lot of people don't know that. And the funny thing is that a lot of stores don't do that. So that right there gives you an edge.
And that's the thing. And it all boils down to, in any business, as an owner, whether you're an owner, whether you're a CEO, no matter what business you're in, you have to be involved in your operation. If you're not involved in your operation, then your business, you're setting your entire business up to fail. You're setting your employees up to fail. Now, whether your employees want you there leeching over them every single day may not be what they want, but it's what they need. It's what they need for their own growth, just as much as what you need to see them succeed.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you have to be able to sit here and know what's going on each and every day. Let me tell you something. Me being home all week long has been like a thorn in my side. You don't know how bad. But I also have to learn to put trust in my people, and not just putting trust in them, and knowing that I made every effort while I've been, the times that I worked with them, for them to make those decisions. And I think I've done that for myself, and I've done that for them, because again, my success isn't just based on me. My success is based on them as well. Because
Yeah.
all those connections that I'm doing, I can't do them without Allison. I can't do them without Alex. When I can't do it without Cindy and without Archie, because without them two, who's going to operate the store?
Yeah, absolutely.
So my success is always going to be dependent on everybody that I surround myself with. Going back to what I said, but it's really tough, man. It's really tough when you sit back and you try to, you mentioned it, really, you know trying to find somebody to take over your spot or to have your vision. It's not really that, because nobody can read your mind, and
Yeah.
everybody's perception is going to be different. And you kind of have to take everybody's opinions and kind of like put them together, and kind of like know that, just because you have this mentality, or you have this vision of what you want, it may not be the right decision, or it may not be the right vision. And anytime I do things at the store with my team, I always ask. I'm not one of those guys, man. I really am. And it's funny, because I just had a conversation with a buddy of mine. His name's Benjamin Baldwin. And he's a big turtle collector. He's a big Star Wars guy. We just had like a little one-on-one convo just now about something that happened. And, everything's perception, and it all comes down to, oh, I lost my train of thought. COVID head again. Um,
Well, it's just how you want to be perceived.
that's what it was.
It's just how you want to be perceived. And again, it's you hope the things that you do, and the way your staff members see you, that it rubs off on them, what you do, so they could say, if you're not at the store one day, okay, well, this is what I've seen Dom do in this situation. Okay, let me go ahead and
Exactly.
execute it that way. And again, I agree with you. It's all about having a great support system. It's all about being able to trust your staff, and it's also being able to have knowledgeable people in place too. Because if you really have to get down to the nitty gritty about it, you know the toy industry itself, there's a lot of information. There's shit that I don't even know. You know,
Yes.
so I always learn something new every day when it comes, when it comes to this stuff. So I mean, it's a process too, and you got to trust in the
Exactly.
process.
Exactly. And again, going back, that's what my train of thought was. With just perception, everybody's going to see things differently, and some people look at me sometimes, or they watch your videos, or they watch other people's videos, or they interact with me in person. And I'm just not everybody's cup of tea, man. I
Yeah,
get it,
I'm not
and
everybody's cup
again,
of tea either.
and we know since we're here, we're going to talk about it. We're launching our YouTube page. So we're launching our YouTube page, and it's probably going to launch probably next week. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be different from what everybody else is doing, but again, my personality is different from your personality. Your personality is different from Mike's personality.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different personality. Everybody has ways of getting through to different people. So, and there's times where people come in and it's like, oh, how do you deal with Dom, or how do you deal with Alex? It's just like, again, you get along with me great, but that doesn't mean everybody else is going to get along with me.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of personality conflict, and that's all it boils down to.
Again, it's like what we said. It's like surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals. When it comes to a lot of things, me and you are always on the same page with things. Again, we're the same age. We grew up in the same era, so it's like we know things. Huh?
We're both loudmouth.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Verse,
we're both notorious for sticking our foot in our mouth. So let's just call it what it is. So obviously the other thing going on, you've got a big Funko park and swap coming up this weekend. So that should be cool. You want to tell us about that?
Oh, that is actually something we've been trying to do. And again, part of my whole vision and just everything and just the Bitz and Buttons aura, so to speak, has basically been to do certain things. Having events at the store has been something that I've been wanting to do for a while. Anybody that's been to the store knows that I have a lot of parking spaces. And again, as all the businesses in our plaza are closing up, it gives us even more parking spaces.
Exactly.
But behind our building, there's actually our landlords actually own the back as well, and that whole back area is just a huge parking lot.
Yeah, it's wide open.
We've had a vision. Yeah, so we've had a vision to actually do a lot of events. It's just timing, and like with anything else, it's money. Because again, these things aren't cheap. They really aren't. There's insurances involved. There's us promoting it, because I'm one of those. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right. After this event, I'm going to look back and go, okay, what can we do differently? So this event has been a long time coming, and I think with the whole Funko community is probably the best way to go. The Funko community is probably one of the larger communities in South Florida. South Florida is a big Funko community and a very large anime community. Tony at Nowhere Toys does a pretty good job at doing a lot of anime events. Nothing fancy, but he does a lot of anime signings and things like that. We also have a very large anime community in our area, where we have Tate's Comics, we have Super Anime Store, we have Shop Pop, I think it's called.
Yeah, Shop Pop.
Which they're not really big anime, but they have anime. And then you have Flynn's Arcade, which Flynn's Arcade isn't really a toy store. He's an
but
arcade,
he carries stuff, yeah.
But he is a big anime guy, and he does a lot of anime events, a lot of Gundam events. Oh, Lord. What's going on? Talking too much. So we're not known for anime because, again, I'm a toy guy. I'm not saying that anime is not important, but in South Florida, it's a necessary evil. So for us, we were like, you know what? Let's kind of do the Funko thing and see where it goes. We ran a few ads a few weeks ago where we were going to start doing it. We didn't realize that when we spoke to Tony, we forgot to get Tony involved with it. But Tony was actually running his event the same weekend we were going to run it.
Oh, okay.
It was like, you know what, whatever, that's fine, because we were doing ours kind of short notice, so we moved it back a week. So now it's this weekend. Let me clear my throat.
Yeah, right. I hope you don't mind.
But so now it's on, it's popping. But let me tell you something. The reception that we've been getting from this event is bananas.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's shocking. This is probably going to be one of our better events, so to speak, even though it's our first actual event. But as far as like signings and all the signings that we've done over the past year, all different things that we've done, like small things to test the waters. This has probably been the most receptive because I've been running a lot of promos for it, and it's $20 for the vendors. So it's only costing you $20, and you're getting one spot, one 6-foot spot, and I'm not taking anything. I don't want anything. All I want is for you guys to be able to, well, not for you, but for the Funko people to be able to sell their merchandise. Because people are always asking us to buy their collections, and it's just not feasible. It's just not feasible for us to buy everybody's Funkos. So it gives everybody a chance to sell their own stuff.
So speaking of signings and stuff like that too, you've also got what is it, Neonub from Star Wars, if that's how you pronounce it. I mean, I'm not a Star Wars guy, so I don't know if I pronounced the name correctly. But you've got him coming in the store to do an autograph signing, so that should be that should cool. That should just draw out all the Star Wars folk.
Yes. So not only do we have that, the Funko Pop going back, the Funko Pop has been a really good reception. Before I started gagging up a storm, I'm gonna make a Funko of Dom gagging. So
yeah.
But the Funko Pop thing has been a phenomenal reception. We're actually sold out of boots. I don't even know how it's possible because we don't really have boots. We've just been telling people we had an expectation of how many people we were going to have, and we kind of like blew that out of the water. So okay, that's good. So now we know the next event will be a little bit bigger. We'll go all out. So after that, then like you said, we have Mike Quinn from Star Wars. Mike Quinn actually played Neonum in the Star Wars movies. If you don't know who Neonum is, he's a little weird-looking football head-shaped guy with the red outfit. He was in the original trilogy, and he was just in Rise of Skywalker, I believe. So he is going to be here 2 weeks later. I got to check my calendar. I forget the date. I'm really bad with that stuff. I think it's June 9th. I'm almost positive it's June 9th. He'll be there. And we have not announced it yet, but we'll announce it now. And then July 4th weekend, July 2nd, I think it's a Saturday, where the North meets the South. It's going to be Bitz and Buttons and Nowhere Toys is going to be hosting Stephanie. I forget her last name, but she is the voice of Goku.
Dragon Balls!
Dragon Balls!
Dragon Balls!
That's what I look like all week long in the toilet bowl. But so we will be hosting our first anime person. She is a pretty big name in the Dragon Ball community, so Stephanie will be here. It's just crazy and ironic that she's not coming down here for SuperCon because SuperCon is actually a week after that. So she's not attending SuperCon, but she will be here at Bitz and Buttons doing an autograph signing with us on Saturday. And then for those of you guys that want to that can't make it in Dade County or it's too far of a drive, you be sure to check her out at Nowhere Toys and Comics on Sunday down in Dade County. So that's something that me and Tony worked on. It worked out really good for the both of us. So it's, again, we're trying to, put our foot in the right direction here with certain things. And this kind of like fell into our lap, and we're really appreciative of it. And that's something that we have coming up with those two. Now, as far as people ask, I can keep doing signings. People don't realize signings aren't free, by no means. Now, some of these celebrities may want to do them for free for us, but there's more to it. Again, going back to I'm not going to do something unless I'm going to do it right. There's marketing involved. I have to market these events. I have to fly these celebrities in. Some of these celebrities come with guarantees. Some of these guarantees are hefty. Now, some of these celebrities will void the guarantee and take on all cash income themselves, meaning that I don't get anything from it. So if Joe Blow wants to charge $100 an autograph, he gets all $100. I don't get a single penny. So the only thing I'm going to make money on is people walking through the door buying a lollipop along with the signature. And I don't even sell fucking lollipops.
Or if people come in and they want to buy the figure of you have the figure of the person,
Correct.
They buy the figure and then they get it signed. So
Correct.
I mean, the positives and the negatives are always there. It just it just depends, I guess, on what mood people are going to be in that day, whether they want to go see that person or they're just going to be like, meh, maybe I'll see him at the next one.
And the thing is Mike Quinn's Neonum's not a huge character in the Star Wars community, but he is a huge character.
Yeah. He's a supporting character.
Like, he's big enough to a point where he had a figure made in 1979. Like, he's that big. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of the original cast members. You know,
We
he
need
may
a
not be.
we need to get a Bitz and Buttons exclusive What's Poppin' figure.
Yo, what's popping?
We need
Yes,
to
sir. You still the dubs up.
Yeah. So
yeah, man, it's gonna be fun.
That's cool, man. So of course, obviously, I'm looking forward to those events, and I'm looking forward to, seeing the success that you have at Joe Fest, and I'm looking forward to seeing, the store grow and all the cool stuff that you get in. I'm really looking forward to the YouTube channel because again, you're going to be showing people a more of a behind the scenes thing of like what goes on, like the purchases that you make, the deals, what goes on with the store to store. It's not going to be all shits and giggles. Yeah, there's going to be some funny stuff in there, but you're going to show people, you're bringing people into your world, something that
Exactly.
people don't get a up close and personal feeling with, especially if they don't know you. Like me, I know a lot of the behind the scenes stuff because me and you talk on a regular basis, and I see it, and you tell me and I tell you stuff. So it's like, but like as far as like just the average viewer, it's going to be cool for people to see that stuff, and I'm excited for that. So I'm going to leave the links in the description below for the YouTube channel, for the Instagram, and for the Facebook. Go check them out. Go subscribe. Go follow. They're always posting when they get new stuff in. They also do post when they're going to have their live Facebook sales, so you guys can go check that out. They do the claim sales, and again, I mean, they get all kinds of cool stuff in via trade or whatnot. And I mean, again, if you guys live, what are you shushing me for?
You said that evil word.
What, trade?
No, the one before that.
What did I say?
You said, and what not?
Oh yeah, we'll save that for another live stream.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. So yeah, guys, make sure you go give them a follow. Go check them out. Again, Dom said they're going to have the YouTube channel up in about a week or so. So just keep your eyes peeled for that. Go subscribe in the meantime, and then hit the notification bell so you guys will get alerted once they start making the content go live. Dom, thanks so much for joining me, man. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that you're feeling better. Everybody's on the mend, and I'm looking forward to see what everything holds for the store and the business in the future. So again, guys, everything will be in the description below for Bitz and Buttons. Go check them out. Go show them some love and support. If you guys are in the South Florida area, you guys know where they are by now. They're in Plantation.
Ring that bell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ring that bell. Yeah. Go check out the store if you haven't, or if you want, you could live vicariously through my other channel where I do my toy hunts, and I'm basically there every week. So make sure you check that out. And then yeah. So guys, thanks for joining us on another episode of the Collector Shot. If you like what you saw, please be sure to give a thumbs up. If you're new, please be sure to subscribe. As always, be sure to hit that bell so you get notified every time another episode of the Collector Shot gets uploaded for your viewing pleasure. As always, you can check out all the excellent content I offer right here on this channel. And until next time, guys, kick your feet up, take a, relax, take a chill pill, take a shot, and yeah. We'll see you on the next one. Bitz and Buttons. Go subscribe.